Welcome back, everybody, to the Weekly Anabolic. It's your boys here, and this is episode 27. We are officially past half a year worth of episodes, which is pretty cool. We were just talking about it. We almost have 60 hours of recorded Weekly Anabolic calls, which is pretty crazy. But Brandon, how you doing, dude?
Doing
great.
Doing great. Doing great. Yeah, things are going well. Things are going really well.
Real quick. What's your weighing?
1 second. Going to the calculator.
Why do you still do things?
There you go. Okay, we were 149.6 today.
149. Got to breach back over that 150.
Yeah, so we've been flickering between like 150, 149 the past like couple days. So we're like kind of holding this like new high. And yeah, I'm like planning on just, obviously I'm looking forward to this next bump, You
getting a food bump?
I've already gotten that food bump actually.
Ooh.
So now I've just got to.
What are you eating? Like, how much food are you eating? Do you have any idea?
I'm really shotgun approaching it right now. Things have been so hectic, dude. Like, I need to figure out times for me to eat and times for me to train because my schedule is getting so hectic now that I only have like a very narrow window of time to like actually train. If I want to train and get a full session in, like I need to plan it. And also I need to like plan my meals and shit like that. Cause like I'm waking up in the morning and now I've got clients in Garrison from 7. So I've also taken on another client in Garrison, which I didn't tell you about. On top of the one that I took on.
Go into house clients.
Yeah. That's like a house call.
God, that is
house call.
Yeah. That's a huge time. Like, taker right there.
I do wish I was charging a little bit more for my house calls just so that they were
I feel like we talked about that at some point.
Yeah, that's like the whole finding your worth thing, and
for sure
eating shit for a little bit, but then you gotta work something out for yourself. So basically I'm loving it though, don't get me wrong, I'm loving it. I just took on a new client. His name is Frank Lucente. He is a doctor, or a retired doctor, an ear surgeon, I believe. Good friends with all of the clients that I'm working with currently. Like all these guys kind of know each other. I've kind of talked about this a little bit. So like right now I'm just working with like a giant friend group right now over in Garrison. So I start at like I'm up and out by like 7:30, and then I don't get back home till now. My last session's at like 2:00. So I don't get back till like 3. And then I have more clients at the gym. So yeah, things are getting a little tight, but it's good because I'd rather be busy than really bored and feel like I'm not doing anything with my life. So at least I feel like I'm doing stuff and I can turn the lights on, and I'm happy. So
what's really interesting that you can recognize as a coach, that how you're feeling right now in this situation is what every single client that has like an 8 to 5 feels. Because they're like, I am busy all day long and I got to figure out how to fit all this new stuff in.
Yeah.
Right? It's really interesting, especially, someone like yourself who you've worked for yourself and you've been doing this, kind of as your own thing. And so you've been able to schedule your time. And now that you're super busy, you're starting to feel that.
Yeah.
And really it's going to help you grow as a coach to better speak and relate with those people and, give tips, tricks on how to get around it, how to make it happen as you figure it out. Right. Because it kind of is a new experience for you in this situation where you're taking your meals and your training seriously, but you're also taking your work and your livelihood seriously.
Yeah.
It puts it a lot in perspective of like what most people that don't do this for a living have to go through.
Yeah. Like,
right? Because when you sit on kind of our side of it, where you go, what do you mean you can't get your meals in? Like, you just get them in. You eat them when you're supposed to eat them. But it doesn't really translate for people that have a job, right? People that have to work a certain set of hours.
Yeah.
And especially ones that are, active in their job, like people in construction can't just go and eat, right? Or maybe they can. I don't know. I don't really know.
Well, if they do, they go to the deli, they don't
Right.
make their own meals.
Right, exactly. And so that kind of stuff is always really interesting. Or like people who work in retail full time, they barely get breaks as it is. And so this is a cool experience for you. I hope you see it that way.
I totally do, man. Like I feel like the vibe of like the past couple weeks has definitely been like, if there's something new, just fucking do it, and like see what comes out of it. Because like if you don't change your input, you'll never change your output. So if nothing new comes your way, then nothing new will ever happen. So like meeting these new people and scheduling these clients and even messing up, like missing a client by accident because they weren't in my calendar, or dealing with certain questions that I haven't confronted yet, or trying to like kind of seal the deal, like closing a client like at the very end of the session.
Yeah.
Like these are things that I'm getting better and better at as, each client that I end up kind of, working with and getting through. Like I get better and better as these new experiences kind of like test me and, make me kind of adapt to new things to be a better person, like that's like, so I've really been trying to, not shy away from new things that might be a little bit more intimidating that I would usually shy away from. And it's really cool, doing that. It definitely, it's a little like, it's like, ooh, like, I don't know if I can handle that, but you do it anyways. And then you'll realize very quickly if you can or can't handle something, and you can make the adjustments, as needed. Like I never got to the point where, like, I remember I used to get kind of overwhelmed with taking on new clients because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to fit them in somewhere, but now what I'm realizing is that it's better to just have those clients and to be able to fit them in somewhere eventually. Like they will kind of set into their own time frame when they, as things kind of click and carry out. Yeah, it's been super cool. Been rad.
Cool, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm happy for you, dude. That's
Thank
really
you, Brady.
awesome. This is all working out for you this way.
Thank you, Brady. Yeah, man. It's been super cool.
Yeah. But back to the original question. What do you think you're eating?
Dude, I can tell you right now the food groups I'm eating. I mean chicken, rice, chicken, rice, ramen, protein.
Ramen.
Like that's kind of what I've been living off of. Not so much cream of wheat the past couple weeks, I will admit, which was a little odd. I was running the cream of wheat for like, and I was running that hard for like
I remember weeks. you were eating like fucking 6 packets a day.
Yeah, now I'm eating like 6 packets of ramen a day. I'm like, what's going on?
Hey, you know what? Ramen's good too.
It gets the job done, man. It really does.
The ramen diet does get it done.
It's super easy to digest too. So if I need something like super quick, and you can make it really easily too. You make it in like 4 minutes in the microwave,
right?
And you just sprinkle the little the fun flakes on, and yeah. It's like, okay, I guess this is 50 grams of carbs right here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really easy.
Yeah, and I've been eating like nuts and stuff like that. So I'm supposed to be eating around 100 grams of carbs, 120, 140 grams of carbs every meal. My
meals, right?
I'm on 4 meals. 4 meals. Yeah. So like just before
That's a lot.
Yeah, just before things were really picking up, I was like, yo, Nick, can you give me a 5th meal? I think I can handle it. And then like my workload was like, and I was like, hey, Nick, I'm really sorry for making you make that for me. Yeah, I was like, we don't need to do that anymore. Yeah. So we're back on 4, but the calories are bumped up a little bit.
What's your protein at?
55, 60.
Oh, per meal.
Yeah.
I was thinking like grand total.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're like, oh, it's kind of long. Yeah, so it's around
so you're eating over 200 grams of protein.
Yeah, I'm trying.
That's a lot for you too.
That is a lot. Yeah, Nick prescribes pretty high protein recommendations.
See, mine isn't that high.
Oh,
I mean, I have just about the same amount of protein in my diet as you do. I'm right around the 200 mark, maybe a little bit over, like 210,
feel
maybe 220 at most.
Yeah. Like I feel like I'm like pretty lean individual. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah. That's where the macros are at. Yeah. I will say I've been much more intuitive and looking at my scale and just consciously making sure that I'm eating like over 100 grams of carbs every single meal, getting in the protein that I need to, letting the fats kind of fall where they may. I have like a giant thing of nuts that I just like pick at like in the morning. Like I'll just like pile handfuls into my face.
Yeah.
Usually like in the AM and the PM. And that kind of gets my fats in for me and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of ramen, chicken and rice, and pizza also, and ice cream. Oh yeah, I've been eating a shit ton of ice cream.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I kind of feel like you when you were like, yeah, coming into the 200s, I did it a little dirtily.
I made a few mistakes.
Yeah, I'm like, ah, la, 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 like totally making mistakes. Like,
You're
it's
like,
okay.
I'm just gonna eat everything.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm just blowing it out of the water. I'm tired of fucking like. I usually bounce off this 150 mark pretty hard. Like by now, I'd probably be like 145 because I would have been like, I made it. But now I'm like, fuck it. Yeah, like we're keeping it up, and
yeah, just
we're gonna
full
keep
send through that shit.
See, yeah, exactly.
The fun part about what happens in this ugly push that you're probably about to start doing here in a little bit is you get stupid strong.
Yeah, dude. I've been noticing my strength getting better already.
Stupid strong, stupid fast.
Yeah.
Which is fun. And that's what makes it really hard to like not do it anymore.
Yeah, I've definitely been approaching like my weights, even though I'm literally like, it's like fucking 2 pounds we're talking about. Like the difference in mentality between like 147 and 150 was like, I can't do that, to like, oh fuck that, I got this.
I got this shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's so ridiculous, but yeah, definitely I'll take any help I can get. Yeah, dude. Yeah. How you been, Brady?
I've been good, man. Things have been honestly pretty calm around here. I'm in there's a whole bunch of stuff that I feel like is just kind of working in the background right now for me. And I'm at this point where I feel like I'm about to have like some kind of breakthrough of some kind. And I'm not sure what it is, whether it's the podcast is about to get recognized by someone important, or myself as a bodybuilder is going to get recognized by someone important, or, coaching blows up. Like I just have this feeling that something is about to like kind of like go to the next level. I don't know what it is. But I'm just kind of staying keen on everything and making sure that everything and all the ducks are in a row and all that stuff. And if it happens and something blows up, that'd be awesome. If not, then you know what, processes are still running and things are still good. But yeah, I'm just kind of I'm quietly working on like trying to figure out where my next move is and how I can take things to the next level. I think that's really what is spurring like this feeling for me, is I'm in a position where I feel like everything is stable enough that I can like really sit down and think about, okay, what's my next move? And so that's been cool. Yeah, it's been cool. Training has been so awesome. My legs feel huge.
They also look pretty huge.
They kind of blew up, which is awesome. Super awesome, especially my quads. My quads have blown up a ton, which is nice because they were kind of moving into this block. They were definitely like beat up pretty hard just from like what they were going through. And then with the change in training and intensity techniques and that kind of stuff, they've just like my quads have really like rounded out,
Okay.
which has been nice because I generally have like super squared off quads.
Yeah, blocky.
Yeah, I have very blocky legs, or at least I used to. And right now they're holding a very round, full shape to them, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's been good. Training is so wild, man. It's like, do you know that feeling in your body when you're like kind of getting sick, and so you're just kind of like tired?
Yes.
That is how I feel pretty much every evening after training. Like for like 2 weeks, my evenings have just felt like I'm fighting off a sickness. I'm just exhausted, like I'm beat.
Yeah.
I'm just beat. I want to sleep. I want to lay down. I want to rest. And it's been very interesting. And I'm like, well, maybe I am fighting off a sickness. But when I don't train, I'm perfectly fine.
Okay.
If I don't train, I am golden. But after a training, like yesterday, I demolished legs. It was so fun, dude. I did the wildest fucking drop set ever. That was sick.
Was that the set that you posted?
On the IGTV?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 11-minute leg press set.
Yeah.
That was nuts. It was awesome. Yeah, like I did that. That was after doing like RDLs and the hammer strength V squat, which are both pretty heavy movements. And then today I hit chest and like just demolished it. And push has been going really, really well for me recently. So like I'm seeing improvements by like tens of pounds each week, which is huge. And on top of that, I'm seeing rep progressions by like 2-3 reps,
dude,
at the same time.
Nice.
So I'm getting a huge just like strength increase in this block. And I don't know if that's just like all of the time that was spent bashing my head against the wall in the previous block. Just like hitting the same thing week after week after week. And now I finally, like, with the change in training stimulus, I've, kind of broke through that wall. And now I'm just like really elevating. I have no idea, but I'm just running with it.
Nice, man.
I'm gonna run with it and just pretend that it's how it's all supposed to go and just take it as far as it'll possibly let me go. And on the other side of this push, I hope things look different. Basically, that's kind of where the cards lay for me right now. So I'm just going to do everything in my power to make sure that I look different. The next time I get shredded, like very, very different.
And I think you will.
I definitely think I will.
I think it's.
I know my lower half is going to look wildly different. I'm pretty happy with how my back has changed. I've grown a ton of like lower lat thickness, which has been really cool because my lats dropped off super heavy when I got shredded.
I remember you saying
I had like no lower lat. There was no thickness to the bottom of my lats. And now even being thick, like they pronounce off my back, which is super cool.
Nice. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you've probably already gotten past this, but you can like feel yourself like in your shirt. You know what I mean? Like you can feel like your tricep on your lat. You're like, oh yeah.
Feels nice. Yeah. It's it's different things every day. I have some days where I'm like, God, I feel so small. And then other days where I'm like, I feel really good today. I feel really full. And totally depends on the day.
I try not to. Do you find like, how do you deal with the like mental swings like that? Like, do you let it get to you, or are you someone who like doesn't let it get to you?
I guess, what do you mean by get to me?
Like if you wake up and your weight is something that you don't want it to be, does it affect you mentally?
it definitely kind of directs my day a little bit. But I wouldn't say negatively. Sometimes that is like the extra push I need to like go a little bit harder that day. Right. So like I try and direct it positively where, I'll put a shirt on and be like, I'm not filling this out the same way I feel like I should. So I'll be like, okay, I really got to get in and like train harder today. Like I got to fill this out. I want to have a pump and fill it out and feel like I should.
Yeah.
And so I try and direct it that way instead of being like, I'm a piece of shit. I suck.
I should probably
stop lifting. Yeah. So like, I try to not let it get to me that way. I always try and direct it positively.
Yeah.
But yeah, that it's funny because, sometimes I can look at like the previous day and create a direct correlation to like why my body is the way it is for a certain day. Like I'll wake up in the morning and I go, my shape doesn't look quite the same. And we're all our own worst critics, right? Like we can overanalyze every single part of our bodies.
Yeah.
We know down to the centimeter how something should or should not look. And right now in my off season, because I hold the majority of my fat through my midsection, that's what I pay the closest attention to. Yeah. And so, and kind of my legs. Sometimes my legs. It's been a little bit different because of how they've filled out recently. They look totally different, but mostly my midsection is kind of where I like check myself. And so if I wake up in the morning, I'm like, whoa, I look a little bit blown out right now. Yeah. Why? That's a lot of times what I do is I'll go, why? And then I'll think about like, when was my last meal? What was my water intake like the day before? Those I'll go through the list of like what happened yesterday so that I can make the adjustment to make sure that we're still moving in the right direction. Yeah. So really, I use it more for feedback and like a roadmap. Yeah. And so that's kind of what I do. Some days it gets to me, right? Especially this deep into off season, it happens the most if I take photos of my back shots. Because especially through, that part of my midsection, when I take a back shot, like if I try and take a rear lat spread, it just looks awful because my waist is a lot wider than it is when I'm shredded. So I don't look like I've fucking got any bigger most of the time. Yeah. And it doesn't help that I fucking always pose in shit lighting all the time. That is actually kind of purposeful. It started originally when I was doing my first diet with Nick, and when I came on board, I took my first progress photos and we just stayed in that same spot. We're like, this lighting is really, really bad. I look nothing like what my photos show. Like, these are terrible. The lighting.
I swear I don't look like this.
But then we kind of got into the side of, well, you know what? If we can look good in this lighting, we know we'll look really good in good lighting.
True.
And so we kind of just hung out there, and then that's kind of the place that I've stayed. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to see myself in the worst light possible and know that I can only look better than that. Yeah. When it comes down to showtime eventually, then that'll be totally different because we want to make sure we make informed decisions. But for the most part, with just like normal weekly check-ins kind of stuff, being in the shit lighting just kind of pushes me to be better.
Yeah, dude. It's kind of like wearing baggy clothes all the time.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I don't even remember where we were going with all this.
Yeah, I asked you a question. Oh, I asked you if it affects you. So I think no, but sometimes when we lat spread.
So yeah, the only time that my physique gets to me with like over analyzing is when I do my back shots. Because I love like the look of a good like sculpted back, and I know what mine looks like when it's shredded.
Yeah.
And I like it. Like when I was super lean, I would see how my back was shaped and the symmetry within it. And like, I like the way it looks. I want it to be a lot bigger, but in terms of how the muscle sits and where it attaches and those kinds of things, I really like the look. And I think I can have like a really nice shape. But when I'm thick, it doesn't look the same, and it's just kind of this mass. Yeah. Right? And so it doesn't show all the details, and my waist isn't as lean, so I don't look as wide and all those things. Gotcha. So that one gets me. Which is why I don't really take many back photos. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Sometimes. How are you feeling right now?
How am I feeling right now?
Yeah. Analytical look at your physique. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah. Like now that I'm at like 150, I'm like, I really want to hold on to it, obviously. So like, I feel a little bit more emotionally driven now just because I'm like at 150 and I don't want to leave 150. I want to be above 150. And like if I wake up in the morning and I look down and I can like, it sounds weird, but like if my rib cage, right, and my stomach is below my rib cage, I'm like, could be below 150 today.
Dude.
Like
I definitely am in the same boat all the time. A lot of times
before I wake
no, not quite.
Okay, good.
I'll look in the mirror and I'll be able to see him. I'm like, I'm gonna be a bit heavy today.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So in my case, I'm like, oh shit.
You're the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah. But I've actually, much to my surprise, so I'm like stepping on the scale. I can tell I just look much more full, like all the time. Like usually when I wake up in the morning, I'm pretty dry. And then like throughout my day, like I look much better, like obviously towards the end of the day than like first thing in the morning. But now I'm like, I'm like looking okay, like in the morning, I'm much more full in the morning. And by the time it's like
full in the morning.
Yeah. I'm like waking up full in the morning.
Really?
And by the time it's like, PM time, it's like, I'm just like, oh shit, definitely I'm a little bit bigger. So like, yeah, I'm trying not to let it like psychologically get to me. Like today I stepped on at 148, like, and I can kind of tell like when I'm 68, like if I'm like 69 to 70, that's how I know I'm like above. If I'm 68, 67, that's like, I'm like a little bit lower. So like when I step on the scale, like today, for instance, I saw like 68 and I was like, okay, it's all right. Like no big deal. And very similar to like kind of what you did. I just kind of can change my day a little bit if I needed to.
What adjustments do you need to make?
Yeah. Like I was prepared.
It's something you figure out as you kind of auto-regulate things, right?
Yeah, you get much better at it and you can kind of make those calls as needed. Sometimes, especially if you're like trying to maintain a goal, you can maybe eat a little bit more or eat a little bit less on those days if you weigh a little bit heavier or a little bit lighter.
Yeah. I remember during my push-up, there was some days where I would just like specifically eat later just to see a higher number on the scale. Because it wouldn't have as much time to digest, right? Like, yeah. It definitely gets in my head. Like the scale number totally gets in my head.
Yeah.
But it's just like a game that I play with myself. Like, all right, I'm gonna manipulate it this way today and see it happen.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun. It's kind of fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It is.
It is fun to just like play around with your body. That sounds weird. Play around with
literally and figuratively
with what you want your body to do, and then make the adjustment and see it happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's because like, if normal people, it's really hard to do that because they need to find some consistency, sure, within their diet and their training and things like that. But for us, it's like everything is so consistent. If we like turn the dial up or down just a little bit, you can definitely tell.
It makes a difference.
Yeah, it does make a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's
I can tell, I can tell if I didn't drink enough water the day before, because I'll wake up and I'll look spilled over because I'm dehydrated, which a lot of people would think that would make you leaner, but it doesn't, because I'm actually now holding on to all of my water.
So it makes you look softer.
So exactly. It makes me look softer. And I'll step on scale and I'll be heavy every time. Every single time. Yep. So I go, oh shit, I totally forgot to drink water like the second half of the day.
Yeah.
Get that in, weight goes right back down. Like as you get good at controlling all of the variables, you can learn these things about yourself, right? You can go, okay, I'm going to change this one thing and see what difference it makes, right? And as you get better at like looking at yourself and analyzing, what's different, what isn't different, those kinds of things, then you get even better at playing with the variables to achieve, a certain look that you're going for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to not let it be like an emotional mental thing. I try to not have too much emotion behind my physique, especially right now, because right now is so like behind the scenes and being natural. Like this is kind of just what I have to go through if I really want to put on size, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be strong as hell and look dense as fuck the next time I'm shredded. And if I have to sit at a little bit of a higher body fat for that, then so be it. Like this is all for the greater process of showing up on stage and people going, what the fuck? Right?
It's bigger than us.
Exactly. Yeah, it's bigger than what any number on the scale says in any given day. Right? Yeah. So don't get emotional about your physique. Just use it as a tool. Use it as a tool.
Yeah, use that emotion positively instead of negatively.
Yeah.
Like instead of saying like, oh, well, I should probably just stop.
Right.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Anytime I'm upset with something, I definitely use it as like a driving factor to just push harder, because I don't want to have that happen anymore. Right. Like specifically my arms. I go, oh, my arms are small. And instead of going, I guess I'm just going to have small arms genetics, I go, okay, I got to fucking train them harder. I got to figure out what I need to do to, make it better. And my arm training has actually been a lot better recently. It's been awesome.
A little bit more fun.
Way more fun. I went gym bro, and I'm actually doing like some barbell curls. And I fucking love them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love them. I love that they set my wrist position for me. Especially being in that, that set supinated position. Especially because I have a hard time with hammer curls and like cramping. I also totally like
cramping where?
We've talked about this. And this is actually something that I just learned as I've been doing my education side of all of this. I've been calling it my brachialis this whole time. It's cramping in my brachioradialis.
Brachioradialis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the brachialis.
Gotcha.
So anyway, this whole time I've been a dumbass. And I've pointed to it and nobody's corrected me. But
I didn't correct you. I am also a dumbass. I was like, yeah, it's one of those Coricos. He's got it.
But yeah, so hammer curls always cramp me in my brachioradialis. And it just causes a lot of displeasure, and honestly I don't really feel them in my bicep ever. So switching to a set supinated grip has been awesome. It's been really good, getting a good pump, playing around.
I wonder why you cramp up there.
I have no idea. Honestly, I have no clue. But it's weird, and it's very consistent, and it's very, correlation is not always causation, but I can definitely say that every single time I do hammer curls, I cramp in that area. And it sits there like for the whole evening after, it'll sit there and just fucking cramp all night. And it's
weird.
really, really annoying.
That sounds annoying.
Yeah.
That sounds weird too. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. But barbell curls, I've really been liking them.
Good.
Really been liking them. So I'm going to run with it.
Good.
And I've got my machine curls and my cable curls that I still do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been rocking preachers and hammers.
Preachers mess with the tendon right inside my elbow so much. I always feel
inside
like
or outside?
Inside. I always feel like I get so like hyperextended in a preacher curl.
Okay.
It just hurts.
Yeah. Do you go to full lockout on your preachers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be the reason why. If
Right.
you like stay just shy of that, it might be a little bit better.
Yeah, probably would.
Yeah.
And there'll be a point that I'll probably throw them back in. I'm doing what feels good right now and just gonna work on loading it.
Good. What are your tricep movements?
I've got my overhead cable extension, and then I've been doing this superset that's been really interesting. I actually take 2 ropes, and so I use them as like one big long rope, and then I do it as a superset where I first set the cam in a position where I overload the contracted position. So the cam is set roughly at, bicep bottom of the shoulder height so that it's really light and I'm kind of bent over and then I end at my hip. Does this make sense? I have no idea if this makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll have to record it sometime. Anyway, so I'm overloading. I'm making the movement hard in the contracted portion of the movement. And then from there, I go to, I put the cable cam all the way up and then I stand up and do like a normal press down so that I'm overloading like the stretched portion.
Okay.
And I've really been liking that.
Word.
Yeah. And then I've got.
And you're just rocking that superset?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I do a couple sets of that. And I have dips, which are like my
I haven't done a dip in a while.
Yeah. I actually just switched from like a body weight dip to, we actually have a hammer strength, like seated dip machine. So I'm going to run with that for a little bit. I just changed it today. It felt a lot better than dips have been feeling.
Yeah.
Dips have been really messing me up. It was so weird. I had this weird span of time where I progressed dips like super quickly. Like I got up to like a 2.5 plate dip. And then like the next week later, there was something funky with my elbow on them. And then ever since then, their performance on them just like dropped off. Like what I was doing 2.5 plates for, I can now only do with like 1 plate.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if the elbow thing just like mentally got in my head. I'm like, I can't be doing this, or if something just like tweaked with the movement, and then I have no idea what it was, but the movement, I'm not getting out of it what I was at one point. And so I moved to the seated dip today just to see how it felt, and it was actually really nice. It was really nice to have everything set. So I was seated and locked into the machine. And then all I had to focus on was just like pressing.
Yeah. Did it come with a little seatbelt?
It did. But yeah. I just locked my knees in. There was a thing that I could lock down over my knees. And so that was fine.
Cool.
I didn't load it anything stupid. It was like a set of 12 to 15.
Yeah.
So
it's funny that you mentioned that. I also have a seated dip machine as well, and I used it for like the first time ever like 2 weeks ago maybe. Yeah. And it was fun. Yeah, came with a little seatbelt. Yeah. Myself in. No smoking. It was good. It was good. It was a good set. Yeah, it was a good machine, I guess. I liked it. It was a little wonky, super fucking old, but it was they got the job done. I felt it.
Not every machine's gonna be perfect, but you learn to work with them, right?
Yeah. Personally, I've
adjust your body around the machine so that it works properly, right? Don't expect yourself to fit into every machine. Because everybody is different heights, have different bone lengths, and so just make yourself fit the machine don't try to don't expect yourself to fit the machine the way it's exactly designed.
Yeah, like if you're just walking up to a machine and just sitting into it and then just going, it's probably not set up correctly for you, because the person that was on it before you wasn't you. They're could have been shorter, could have been taller, broader chest, more shallow chest, this, that, the other. Like if you just you got to adjust your seat length so that the bar path is proper and you can adjust yourself accordingly. Like Brady was saying, we can only really adjust ourselves to fit those machines, which is why it's nice to be able to dumbbell press and even barbell press and things like that.
Because you should be able to do those proficiently, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Everything is a tool and it has a use.
Yeah, but like I think one of the best examples I have of this is that, and I think most people know this machine, the hammer strength, like iso row, it has a thing that you can sit into and you pull it and it's row and you can stack plates on it and tons of people use it. But you'll see that most people actually stand behind the machine, right? They brace on the pad and then they're standing behind the machine because that's how the path works best for most people.
Yeah.
Like
people that
I'm trying to do like a lat dominated row on that. So yeah, you just like work around machines. Anyway. Yeah. But Brandon, let's do some best thing, worst thing, man.
All right. Well, all right. You already know what my best thing is.
I already know what your best thing is, so say it on air.
Yeah, I don't know if the people know this. No, it's no big deal.
It is a big deal.
We rode three. We rode. We RDL'd 3 plates today.
Yes,
that was cool. Yes, sir. Doozle Bob. That was cool. Feel? It felt good. Dude, the speed off of the first rep, like I tested it out, like warming up. I warmed up and after 295, it was funny because today Nick told me to taper back on my rows. So today I was like, oh, maybe I should like taper back here as well. So I was really considering doing that before. And then, like 295 just felt really good. So I decided to come up to 305. 305 also went really well. So I was like, whatever, like I'll just try 315. And then 315 also, like it kind of like it went up relatively pretty quick. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So then I took 315 for a miniature ride for 3, and it felt really good. I think like today I was just a little bit in my head, so I wasn't as like confident as I could have been. I was a little bit more on the cautious side, I guess, just with like a new load in my hand and stuff like that. So I wasn't as like, I was kind of timid with my set, I guess. So like the first couple reps went really well. That last rep was a little bit slow and I kind of got in my head a little bit, and then I kind of got buried after that. But, Brady looked at it. I looked at it. I think I could nail it for, 4 or 5 for sure next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Your reps looked super, super good.
Yeah. They felt good.
Yeah, man.
It definitely felt good.
It's cool to see. It's been a long time coming.
Dude, it really has been a long time coming. So for those of you guys who don't know, last time I pulled 3 plates, it was like a year ago, and I deadlifted it.
It was more than that.
Was it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it was like over, maybe it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I would.
Could have been 2 years ago.
I would believe that. I mean, dude, it's almost May, and no, it is May. We're almost halfway through May of 2021.
Yeah, dude, April flew.
Yeah, it did.
Holy shit. Yeah. So the last time I haven't done this in a long time. The last time I did, I deadlifted it. I had a belt on and I switch gripped it. And I turned into a question mark too. Like my back totally fucking gave. This time around, like doing things properly, coming into the loads properly, owning the weight, deserving more weight was definitely the correct approach. It was a slow and steady approach, but it definitely worked out. And, I'm much more happy with the way 315 worked out today than it did 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
So that was definitely the best thing. Worst thing is that I that was my first training session since like last Thursday. So, and last week, I only did 2 workouts last week.
Dude, your frequency is like negative.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Negative.
This is definitely the past 2 weeks. Definitely the worst my training's been in a minute in terms of frequency. My lifts, though, have been really good.
Well, yeah,
but my frequency, but then
every time.
Yeah, exactly. That was the other thing, is that I'm super fresh for these lifts, which is probably why I had such a great day today. I was just I could like kind of leave it all on the floor there. So yeah, definitely need to taper up that frequency a little bit.
Definitely get back in the gym.
Definitely. Yeah, I've made this thing in my head now. I want to like make values that I like kind of stand by, like bodybuilding values, that are my own, I guess. And two of those values are going to be, no matter what, if I have a training day, I'm going to train no matter what. And if I have a meal, no matter what, it's going to get hit. Like no matter, even if I like don't have anything on me, I must eat something. Like, because I can be pretty notorious for saying fuck it, or I'll pick up cows somewhere down like later in the day, something like that.
Yeah.
Which doesn't end up getting picked up. So, just making sure that no matter what, I'm eating something if or when I need to eat something. And the training is probably going to be just get in the 4 days that you need to get in that week. Doesn't necessarily have to be like 2 on, 2 off, but make sure that I at least get into the gym 4 times a week. Boom.
Yeah, I think I would urge you to try and set like a quality standard to your sessions. Like, I need to have 3 quality sessions a week.
Yeah.
Otherwise you get in and you just start going just because you told yourself you have to go.
Mm-hmm.
And you do like really half a session. Like, you should probably try and hold yourself to a standard of work versus a standard of
quality over quantity.
Right. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
For
sure. For the food, definitely. Bottom line, if you're supposed to eat at this point, find something to eat.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm and don't get me wrong, like I'm a big believer in quality, obviously. If there was anyone that is a believer in quality, it's myself.
I know.
So I think tapering back the row volume, or not the row volume, but the row intensity is going to be a little bit more helpful in making me feel more confident about getting set for the next like week ahead of me, because usually by the end of the week, after RDLing like that and rowing like that, I'm usually like
crushed.
Crushed. So it's like, I take a couple of days off, and then if I have like either a super swamped day or the weekend's coming and I have to go see Kelsey, it's like, if I'm with Kelsey, I'm probably not going to train on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, kind of a thing. So
right.
From earlier, I just got to start planning a little bit better. I'm like locking in my clients now. So like the clients that I did just take on, they were kind of like scattered everywhere. They were like, 3 o'clock on Tuesday, 5 o'clock on Thursday.
Fit things wherever they can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. It was like, like Tuesday, 3 o'clock. Yeah, I'm free. Let's do it. Instead of being like, maybe I should stack you somewhere around another client so I don't come in, leave, and then have to come back in, kind of a thing.
Right.
Like I just rearranged all of my clients in Garrison so that I don't have to drive from one spot, then 20 minutes away, and then come back to the spot that I literally just trained in. Like it's much easier to just kind of bang out all 3 clients that are in the same area that just are pretty much neighbors with each other, and then go out, so you don't waste as much time. I'm not wasting as much gas. It's just much easier. So it's just kind of about finding a solid time to do the things that I need to do to eat. Like I think I need to start waking up early and just nailing my first meal like before I leave for my clients, instead of getting up at 7:50 leaving at 8 o'clock, brushing my teeth and leaving at 8.
Right.
I should probably wake up at like 7, pound some cream of rice at least and a protein shake, and then go. That would kind of set my morning up a little bit better, so that when I came back, I could just eat another meal, and that would just set me up way better. That's something that I'm thinking I'm going to obviously do.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
Yeah.
Get that first meal out of the way, and honestly, it'd probably be good for your clients too, that you've gotten up and gotten food in your system and your processes are running.
Yeah, I didn't like roll out of
The
bed.
quality of those sessions improve instead of still trying to shake out the cobwebs from the morning when you show up, right?
Very true. Very true. Yeah. Like I'm not gonna I would probably see a small improvement in the quality of the training.
Yeah, and you might just find that you enjoy it more.
I might just find that. Yeah, I might just find that I'm not hungry after my first session.
Yeah, it's more enjoyable for you to do those sessions.
Yeah,
because you're like, all right, my day has started. I've got a meal in me already. Like I'm on top of my shit. Let's go.
That was a big one, what you just said there. Yeah, like I've got a meal in me already. That's the biggest one. Because like when I don't have that meal in me in the morning,
it's so
and I'm driving back,
continue to let it push.
Yeah, I know. And then, oh God, yeah. And then I just feel like I'm 2 meals in the hole, like when I'm on my way back. So I feel like I'm 2 meals in the hole on my way back instead of just feeling like, oh, I've gotten a meal in and I just need to get another one.
Right. It's
like
time for instead of it being time for another one, you're like, shit, I'm behind already.
Yeah, which is like almost as worse. Like that's like the worst case scenario. It's like instead of just being like breaking even, it's like now I'm 2 times negative. It's like,
yeah, dude, I'm in the same boat almost every single. I mean, I fucking work in my kitchen.
I know, it's so fucking nice.
I work in my kitchen, and there's still some days where it's like generally I'll have my first meal at like 10 a.m. But then what ends up happening is I get busy doing something, and then I'm like, shit, it's 10:30.
Yeah.
And then I go, oh. And the thing is, I try to have 3 meals in before I go train. So I have meal 1, meal 2, and then my pre-workout, and then I go train. But if I don't eat at 10 o'clock so that I can eat at 10, noon, and 2, so I can train at 3, it then becomes, oh shit, okay, do I combine meals 1 and 2 and push it off for another hour? Or do I have meal 1 now and then only have meal 2 and then not have the pre-workout, or combine the pre-workout and meal 2? And it becomes this whole fiasco because it got pushed off for like an extra like 20 minutes. But it throws off, it throws off everything in my day. Meanwhile, I could eat the meal at 9 and have no issues.
Yeah.
I need to stop putting myself in that situation.
Yeah.
Especially the thing is I've kind of readjusted my whole schedule, and I've become super productive in the morning. Like first thing in the morning, I'm super productive till about noon. Which actually has been this interesting thing that I've found is I think once I put carbs in my system, I become less productive.
Mm-hmm.
Like my first meal has 0 carbs in it, other than like some veggies that I throw in it. But minimal. And so I don't have any carbs until meals 2. And after that meal, my productivity like kind of cuts in half. And I'm not sure if it's because I kind of run out of things that I think I wanted to do for that day by noon. I doubt it. But I just don't work as well.
Mm-hmm.
But from the time that I wake up until then, I get so much shit done.
Mm-hmm.
If I've got check-ins, I get them done. I get whatever work stuff I need to get done, all done, like first thing in the morning. I write my emails, I figure out my Instagram posts, I think about YouTube content. I do all of this stuff like first thing in the morning.
That's really nice. I fucking wish I had that right now. That's awesome. I used to do that. Like that was like my prime time was between like AM and noon, was just like max effective time to just like do shit, you know. I think I mean, Nick programs the nutrition like that for a reason too. Like, he's notorious for going 0 grams of carbs meal one. That's like where I found that from, you know, is from him.
Well, and it all makes sense.
Yeah, you're like a little bit of a rock.
I think he really programs that just to combat, so that when you first wake up, you don't get that instant response to just go back to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, you know, you can find that with carbs. I've talked about that in YouTube videos and all that stuff. But yeah, it helps my productivity. I'm keto for meal one.
Yeah, dude, totally in ketosis.
Dude, I'm keto like
9 to 12.
And I also intermittent fast from 10 p.m. until 10 a.m.
People nowadays, they just call that sleep.
But it's intermittent fasting. Yeah. I you know, I've been thinking about all the diets, you know, all the different diets that there are out there recently. And like, I want to knock them. But the thing is like, if they work for somebody, then they work for somebody. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where there's so many different ideas that are formed that are mostly placebo or just a misunderstanding of the actual information that they're taking in. But if it's working for them, then you can't really knock it. You know, like, keto works for people because it's literally cutting out an entire food group or an entire macro. So it's really easy to be in a deficit on keto, right? And so that works for some people. You can't knock that. There's other ones like vegetarian diet. Let's talk about that one. It's, again, taking out an entire food group, so it makes it easier to be in a calorie deficit, especially with the volume that comes with being vegetarian. It has nothing to do with, you know, the biological processes that are happening inside of your body that makes it more in tune for fat loss. It has nothing to do with that. It just puts you in a calorie deficit because you're not eating food. And so it's not quite a placebo effect, but I don't have a fancy term for a misunderstanding of information effect.
I nailed it. Yeah.
But either way, it's still an effect. And so, you know, there was definitely a period of time where I was like, I hate all of these diets.
Yeah. And I still do. And you'll
I don't necessarily hate the diet anymore. I can't say I love the people that preach them too much.
Yeah, maybe that was my misconception. Maybe it's not the diet as much as the people into the diet that I don't like.
Yeah, exactly. But it's really a thing of, well, if it fucking works for you, then who's to say otherwise, right?
Yeah.
You know,
as long this is, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the rooster and the sun. So when the sun comes up, the rooster crows, right? But
is that what they do? Is it called crowing?
I think so, or bacawing.
The rooster calls.
The rooster calls. The rooster calls when the sun comes out, right? So if this is like skiddle-doos, skiddle-dees, like if this is like 500,000-600,000 years ago, right? Some dude is outside, and this rooster goes, and then the sun comes up. This man's gonna be like, holy shit, this rooster just brought the sun up.
Made the sun come up.
That is exactly what people on keto do when they lose weight. They go, holy crap, carbohydrates are the demon.
Right.
And that's the reason why I lost all my fat. And it's like, no, the sun comes up like pretty regularly at the same time, kind of. And when that happens, the rooster crows. And with keto, it's kind of like, well, you just sucked away like half of the macros that you should have been eating that you normally eat. Yeah. So you're in a huge caloric deficit. So you've lost the weight. It's not carbs are the devil and they make you fat. It's just you've taken away a lot of carbohydrates. You've taken away like 50% of your calories. And
you've taken away a massive grouping of food that generally creates a large portion of your calories.
Yeah, like 50.
It's like someone who predominantly ate pizza before then goes and goes on to keto. They're like, oh, I'm losing weight. Well, no shit. You were eating 4,000 calories in pizza.
Yeah.
And now you're eating 2,000 calories in protein.
Yeah. It all comes down like baseline. Like if you want like that pinnacle if you want that pinnacle outlook, the monster that can't get taken down, it's going to be caloric deficit. It's going to be calories. As long as you can control for calories, as long as calories are equated, it doesn't matter if you're doing intermittent fasting, keto, vegan, dairy, all cabbage diet, doesn't matter. As long as calories are equated for, as long as the calories are equated for, you're going to lose weight. There are studies on it, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, there's numerous studies, and every time a new diet comes out, anytime a study that's done where calories are equal, fat loss is pretty much always the same.
Yeah, and you'll also realize that no matter what it is, keto, vegan, dairy, cabbage, doesn't matter. All of those diets, intermittent fasting, they all do something, and they all put forth a caloric deficit. The intermittent fasting narrows your window. You can't get as many calories in. The vegan diet, you cut out meat, you cut out a lot of the processed crap. It's going to cut your calories. Keto, 50% of your calories gone. It's like shit like that. Like, and it all is just a caloric deficit, which is what Brady and I and everyone else that's got half of a brain is preaching, is just a caloric deficit. So you don't got to get, you don't got to get all fancy. People love getting fancy. They like the sexy stuff. They like things that are like tricks or like the latest, like fruit to eat to lose weight. Like I've even got like some of my family members that are like, oh, like, yeah, almonds are good, but you can't eat the skins on the almonds because that's like a part of the nightshade and it's like kind of poisonous. And it's like, dude, you're splitting hairs. Eat the freaking almond. It's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That stuff's always interesting. And like from an education standpoint, it is very important to understand why, all of these different diets do or do not work, and really it always comes back to calorie deficit, right? But when it comes to a coaching perspective and finding what works best for your client, sometimes it's finding what works best for your client, right? Because we can say, hey, we're going to prefer that you eat, a balanced diet that's going to hold fats, proteins, carbs. This is why it causes you zero restrictions on anything. And so here's how we're going to roll with it to start. But for some people, going keto just works better. It just works better for them, right? There's the thing is like specifically with keto, I'm going to bring it down to just like this specific diet. The thing with keto is with taking out the carbohydrate macro, there are so many easily palatable foods that are carbs, right? Like cakes, cookies, brownies, ice cream. Continue on the list of delicious sweets. They're essentially all sugar. And they're super palatable, so you can eat a ton of it. When you just remove that, it takes away the palatability of the foods, and instead you're just working off of satiety.
Satiety.
Yeah, that one. And so if that's what someone needs, they need that boundary put so that they don't binge into eating highly palatable foods, right? Because you and I both know there's nothing wrong with rice. It's a carb. So with that saying, we go, okay, you can eat carbs. But then somebody goes, well, if I can eat carbs, how about a cake? Right? How about I have a cookie? And then, oh, this cookie's so good. Maybe just like a little bit more. And then they have like 8 more. And then they threw 6,000 extra calories into their diet. When really, if you just go, hey, we're not having carbs. we're going to equate calories between your proteins and fats. Then they just have the hard set boundary. I'm just not going to have any carbs, whatever. Just don't even have them in the house. Don't look at them. Don't think about them. Then moving forward, mentally, that's how it has to work for them. And if that's the case, right? If that's the case, then I've got no problem with it. You know, I have no problem with keto for most people. Now, I will say I don't think I would go keto as a bodybuilder and trying to be, you know, the best bodybuilder I can. Carbohydrates, I find, and majority of studies have found, are very, very important for the process of performing in the gym and building muscle. So it's not what I would consider optimal for putting on muscle, but for an average lifestyle client, if someone wants to be, you know, if keto is the way and you're the coach, then understand that it might be a viable option, right? It's one of those things that's a tool. And if you understand where people are continuously failing, then maybe you implement the tool so that they stop failing. You see what I'm saying there? Yeah. Like, it's taking out carbs inherently isn't bad. Most times it's just preached improperly. Right.
Like it's like the same thing. Like, I don't care as long as it works for you. If it works, it's fine. And as long as you're not like, and I guess like at the same time, even if you did think the rooster brought the sun up, even if you did think carbohydrates were the demon and you were getting the job done, you're still getting the job done.
Getting the job right.
You know, I think we just don't like the ignorance that most people carry.
Right, absolutely.
Areas.
And that's part of trying to be educated in this industry, right? Is you come across a lot of people who are here to make a buck.
Yeah. The cool thing about I guess these fad diets that it does for people is that it kind of gets them hyped up. Like, it is sexy. It is something that they're into. So they really do try to go gung-ho with things. The only thing is that sometimes the gung-ho-ness kind of pitter-patters out relatively fast because the adherence is really hard. Just going caloric deficit is really, it's much easier than intermittent fasting or keto because you're not being so restrictive.
Right, far less boundaries.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got a little bit more wiggle room. And I will also say that giving your clients that wiggle room, like Brady was kind of saying with the carbohydrates, it's kind of like, if you don't tell them that they can't eat something, they're going to eat it.
Right.
And exactly. If you tell them to eat a little bit, sometimes they eat a lot of it.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, going the caloric deficit route, you're going a more adherable route, but at the same time, it can be kind of hard for clients to adhere to it because they have so much free reign to foods that they just want to indulge in.
Exactly. And they're going to find the food that tastes best.
Yeah.
Right. Because they want their food to taste good. They're used to eating certain type of food. And so if they have that wiggle room, there's going to be error.
Yeah.
Right. And so those are just things that you kind of learn to account for. And as you grow a better relationship with clients, you work out where the boundaries actually need to be set. Right. Like, one thing that I kind of do with my clients is I actually have a shopping list, and I go, hey, these are kind of like my recommended sources for each macro. And so, you know, and drinks, I even have drinks on there, but yeah, I've got like, here's my protein sources. This is what I would recommend, you know, filling out your diet with. I always give people, I actually do both. I do macros and meal plans. So I give them, I'm like, here's your macros. But also, if you don't want to think about your diet at all and you want to nail it, here's a meal plan. If you don't know what to eat, make this meal and you'll be right on. I promise you.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I make a meal plan, but with the meal plan, you also get your macros so that we can work through a process of learning how to sculpt your own meals and where to make adjustments and all of that stuff. But a lot of times when people start, that's a really good way to go like 3 weeks before somebody even understands how to like be in a caloric deficit.
Yeah.
Right? Because you give them macros and then like 2 weeks in, they go, oh, I haven't been tracking. and so having that meal plan in place, I've found has been the best way to get somebody to acclimate to eating the foods that they generally should be eating. And then you work in the education piece of learning how to track your macros. And especially because, after a couple weeks, you'll start getting the messages of, yeah, I'm just starting to get really bored. And I go, okay, well, for this meal, instead of having what's on the meal plan, I want you to try and create your own meal, but match the macros.
Yeah.
Right. And you work it in, and eventually they're fully functioning on their own. But yeah, everybody gets a grocery list, and on that grocery list is generally my recommendations for, each macronutrient. And, that a lot of times it shows people, they go, what, I could have this? I can have bagels? I'm like, sure. Right? Like there's nothing inherently wrong with pretty much any food.
Yeah.
You just have to learn how to make it fit within, your calories that you're looking for.
Yeah. Just
But I do try to keep highly palatable foods off of it, just because it's so easy to make mistakes. Like, yes, you can have cookies, but how well are you able to control yourself to having the proper amount of cookies?
Exactly.
And is that really the best food you should put in for that? Is that how you're going to get the most out of your diet?
Yeah.
And so I do try and keep highly palatable foods. I think the most palatable thing I have is cereal.
Okay.
But even so, that's probably top of the list of food that's like, this is so good.
Them Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, man. Fruity Pebbles are great.
They are great.
But yeah, man, diets are always interesting.
Very.
And as a coach, especially as a coach of mostly people who lifestyle diet, this kind of stuff, I do think understanding boundaries and like how to set them, where to set them is a pretty good thing to understand. And that, like, in this field of trying to educate yourself and be a better coach and understand all of this stuff better, nothing is off the table, right? And nothing should really ever be seen as off the table. This is wrong, can never be used, because there might be a situation at some point where that, whether it's a certain exercise or a certain diet, might be useful. And so it's probably better suited to understand how it works and its intricacies and why it works, so that you know when and where to implement it versus just totally throwing it away. Right? Because you never know when the situation might arise that you go, oh wow, that would have been really useful to have, especially because as you spend time in all of this, our paradigms shift, right? How we see things totally change as we experience new things, because we can only understand and take in knowledge through the lens that we're currently looking through. And as you get more experiences, that lens changes.
Yeah.
And so it's way better to be open to receiving information and seeing where it fits with what you know currently, but not throwing it away because it might fit somewhere else later.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me on that?
100%.
You feel me?
100%. Oh, I'll definitely feel you there, brother.
Yes.
Yeah, but like it's 100% true though. Like you shouldn't, someone, no matter what, no matter kind of who you run into, that person probably has something really cool to offer, to bring to the table, no matter who the person is. It might not be
you
something
might not
that's
have thought of.
Yeah, it might not be like within your profession or your hobbies,
Sure.
things like that. But like, dude, you can learn something from anyone, honestly, like something new from anyone. There are a lot of people that have gone through things that you haven't gone through, obviously. Like, no one person has ever really lived the same life as someone else. And because of that, those people have different experiences, different lenses that they're looking through. So if you get an opportunity to try someone else's glasses on, you should take that opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Always be looking for more knowledge.
Always. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
I didn't even tell you my best thing, worst thing from this week.
Dude, best thing, worst thing, Brady. Let's hear it. What's your best thing, worst thing
I don't
now?
know how we got on like the topic of diets. But I, for some reason, really wanted to talk about that. That was something I was thinking about earlier today. And so I was like, I want to talk about this and like the perspective on diet. And I think I just felt like it wasn't necessarily that I thought that different fad diets were wrong, but it was just that they're most often misinformed.
Yes, super
Anyway.
misinformed. And I also will say that if you're on a vegan diet and you're doing this like lifting thing, it's probably not the best diet you could be on. If
It's a
you
very
choose,
difficult diet.
yeah, if
to
you
be on.
choose to do this because of like religion or you just really love animals, that's a whole nother story. It's fine. But if you're doing this because you think it's going to really improve your performance in the gym, as a vegan, it is extremely difficult. Extremely
very difficult. Right? Not impossible, but very, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And there's definitely more suitable options, right? Especially if you're looking to create a career out of this. You can be like a general average gym bro on a vegan diet and be okay and rock on. But if you're truly looking to see yourself at the next level within this sport, trying to do it vegan is very difficult. And
But
present
Brady,
a lot of challenges.
yeah. I was just saying, but Brady, Kai Green is vegan, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. I'll honestly say I don't really keep up with Kai Green. He's in a list of bodybuilders who I think are very, very good bodybuilders, but because of what he chooses to do now with his time, it's just not something I'm into. I'm not really huge on the whole Instagram drama scene, and that's kind of what he plays into a lot. So it's not something I pay too much attention to. I admire his physique and how he has looked, but I don't pay much attention to him. So I don't even know if he's vegan. But
Yeah,
I would be willing to bet that he did not build his physique vegan.
thank you. That was the only segue I wanted from Brady there.
Yeah.
And that was really all I wanted to hear you say.
I did have to make it a point that like I'm not an expert on Kai Green.
Yeah.
Because one day if there's ever more than like 8 people that watch this, somebody would come for my fucking throat. Like, you don't even know Kai Green.
You don't even know.
You don't even know him.
He was never
I know I don't know him.
Yeah, and I also don't either. I feel like years ago I saw something like that. It was like Kai Green's vegan. And
that was probably a Generation Iron post.
Yeah, and like of course, like you're like Brady said, like that man did not do that originally, just off of
highly likely. I have no idea. No idea, but I can definitely speculate that he did not build
highly unlikely
vegan. Yeah, who knows now? I don't.
Yeah. I've never done it. I don't think I've read any studies on like fruit and veg intake and like trenbolone. Could be crazy for all I know.
I mean, you should eat your fruit and veggies anyway.
True.
But yeah, I don't know. There's man, before I get into my best thing, worst things.
I was just going to say, sorry, Brady.
Real quick. This is one pet peeve I actually have with the industry. Is there's a lot of people who build like decent physiques and then they make it to this point where they're happy with their physique and then they completely change the way that they train and they eat and they're like, this is the way. Like, you didn't build your physique that way though. Like I think the biggest one that I see is especially with training. People will spend 10 years doing like heavy barbell training, mainly focusing on progressive overload, getting super good at squats. and then they get to a point where they have like a decent set of legs and they gain popularity on Instagram and they start only doing leg press. So they're like, see, leg press is the way, it's what I do.
Yeah, they're like
So they had
super
a whole
close
decade,
stance.
even though they had a whole decade of squatting fucking 500 pounds for reps under their belt. They don't talk about that.
Yeah.
And so like that's definitely a huge pet peeve that I have in the industry is there's so many people that build a physique and then they don't actually talk about what built the physique.
Yeah.
Right. They talk about what they're doing now because it keeps them current, which is all good and well, but they definitely don't preach the fact that if you're coming into the sport, you got to put in the groundwork, you know. You got to lift heavy. You got to get strong. You got to lift heavy shit. You got to get good at moving. You have to be able to do the basics. And anyway, yeah, that's just
and it's like kind of defeating to like get to that end point where you've done all that, you've put in that hard work, and then you're just like, try this super set, drop set, mega uber wombo 5,000 pumper, and you'll have huge biceps. And it's like, okay,
it's like, no,
you know?
you just did curls for the last 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
But now this looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool, looks sexy. People dig that.
Yeah.
You know?
Or like there's a headline about Arnold being vegan. You know, he's much older now, and I think he was trying and, you know, take care of his health or something like that. And so he switched to a vegan diet. And then of course all the, you know, bodybuilding news places took it and they're like, see, Arnold's vegan, you can be big and be vegan. Like, no.
It's like,
it's not what that whole point was. It's like he's trying to take care of himself now. That's not what he did to build muscle.
Like the man just had like a heart bypass. Like he's trying to stay healthy.
The dude loved a fucking steak.
Yeah.
Like I remember literally fucking reading an article, God, it had to have almost been a decade ago, about him drinking 8 eggs every morning.
Yeah.
Like what are you gonna fucking tell me?
Yeah.
Vegan is the way because Arnold's doing it. And if you want to build a physique like Arnold, you got to be vegan. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
Those were vegan eggs, Brady.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's
off that soapbox. It's late.
Yeah.
It's late. I'm getting spicy about different things. Anyway.
Brady's getting spicy. Yeah, I'm getting a little hangry right now. Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, let's see. Best thing, man, it's hard. I've had so much good stuff like going on in training recently. I think I gotta go with the leg press drop set. Was probably like the greatest thing that I've done last week. One, because it completely achieved a goal that I talked about on this podcast actually a while ago. I was like, I want to fully fill the pegs on with the leg press. And I did.
And you did.
And I did. And then to add on to that, I drop set it from 8 plates all the way down to 1 plate. Yeah. What I mean by that is I did 8 plates, then I did 7 plates, then I did 6 plates, then I did 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It was awesome. It was glorious.
It was glorious.
It was glorious. Yeah. The whole video is actually on my Instagram if you want to check it out. It's 11 minutes of leg press and me being in a lot of pain and then throwing weights. And but I hit depth. So
still hit depth.
Still hit depth every rep. I felt pretty in control, which felt, that was good. Like I wasn't being stupid, just trying to move the weight. I felt very in control of the weight that I was moving. So that was cool. But yeah, it was 8 plates per side for 5, 7 for 5, 6 for 5, 5 for 5, 4 for 10, 3 for 15, 2 for 20, and 1 plate per side for 30. And so that was a grand total of 95 reps. Essentially no rest. The only rest that was taken was to take the plates off because I trained by myself.
I know, dude. Didn't even have Haley there to strip them for you. Fuck.
There was there was a point in time in that set where I was like, I don't know if I can get up. I was like, I don't know if I can stand and like walk around this machine to take off plates anymore. I think that was after the 3 plates, like the 3 plates per side for 15 got really hard because it just hurt. Like it hurt super bad. But it was awesome. It was like
it hurt good, Brady. It hurt good.
I love doing that kind of stuff. Like it's just I don't even remember any of it. Like within the set, I don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
It was like 3 songs long. And I just spaced out and like moved and caused pain. It was awesome. I loved it.
I just moved stuff. And caught. Can we put that on a shirt? Cause pain. Causing pain.
Caution. Causing pain.
Caution. Causing pain. Yeah.
Can't talk. Causing pain.
Yeah. Might say fuck.
Might say fuck. I think I just goofed up my.
We had it for
my blurry.
Long. A little bit, just a little bit.
There we go. I think it's back.
Yo, those glasses, dude, they give you like an evil villain kind of a look.
These are my blue light blockers, by the way. I feel like I should talk about these. These have been awesome.
I'm also wearing my blue light blockers.
Yes, sir. These have been awesome. They've really improved my sleep quality a ton. Can highly recommend. Make sure you get a good pair. Not like a $2 pair off Amazon, but get yourself, a decent pair. You want 100% blue light blocking. So, sometimes if you look at the description, you'll see like 80%. Just get the full 100%. They'll be a little bit more expensive, but it's seriously worth it. So that's my little product pitch. I get $0 for that. I guess for these. These were like $30.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were up there. These were like $15, I think.
Yeah,
but they probably don't work.
I've seen like a direct improvement, like immediately. I saw a direct improvement in my sleep quality. So,
good.
There we go.
Worth it.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't get any money for saying that.
But by the way,
it's whatever.
By the way, worst thing.
Man, I think the worst thing that's going on is that I don't train for 2 days.
Okay.
Like I train Monday, Tuesday, rest, Thursday, Friday, and then I have the whole weekend off. And it's really weird. Really weird. I've been trying to like see the upside of it. And the fact that I come into my Monday session stupid fresh. I also see the upside of like, I can absolutely demolish myself on Friday, like a little extra because I have 2 days of rest. So I've been trying to like make up for it within the week. But it's really weird. Honestly, having 2 days off in a row has been really weird. And like I don't know how to really feel about it yet, but I think it's okay. I definitely get enough work done within my sessions that like it's okay to have the extra rest.
Yeah.
But it's just weird, It feels like training is such an important part of my life, and like I schedule my day around my training.
Yeah.
To the point where like having 2 days without that just feels weird. Kind of throws off the day. I'm like, I don't train. What am I going to do? That's how in on this I am at this point.
It could be way worse, dude.
Absolutely. And I think it's honestly, in the long game, this is really good. This is actually a really good point to be in, where I'm so efficient within my training sessions that I can train 4 times in a week and be perfectly good.
Yeah.
Like it's good. But it definitely is weird. Like there was a point in my training where I was doing 6 days a week. That was a little bit fucked up.
Yeah, the 6 day a week splits can really fuck you up.
That was actually a mistake. Nick thought that we were on 3 on, 1 off, essentially through my entire diet. So I was doing 6 days.
You were just straight training. Wow.
Yep.
Holy shit, Brady.
6 days on, 1 day off during my diet.
That's pretty fucking nuts.
Pretty much all the way until like the last like 3 weeks.
And he was like, oh.
No, this is what happened. And we were, you know, right towards the end. I'm like, I'm cooked. And I messaged him. I was like, dude, I can't train 6 days a week anymore. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, you don't train 6 days a week. I'm like, yeah, I do. It's like, and like, not really by choice. Like in my exercise, like my training, it's got 6 days on, 1 day off. And he goes, oh shit. That was totally an oversight on my part.
Bruh. You were supposed to go 3 on, 1 off.
I was supposed to do 3 on, 1 off for my entire diet.
Yeah.
And so after that, we went to 3 on, 1 off. And essentially for the rest of that diet, and then going into my push, or I guess my reverse. And then by the end of my reverse, I was like, dude, I'm getting so much fatigue. Like, can we go to a 2 on, 1 off?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I was just all of my compound movements had increased so dramatically once I added food back in that I was just fatigued all hell.
Yeah.
And so now here we are, like, Jesus, 8 months into this off season, 9 months, something like that, 8 or 9 months into this off season. And we're like, all right, 4 days a week.
Yeah.
2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 2 off.
Yeah. Now you're like, give me more.
Yeah. And right now I am. Ooh, I just got like super glowy. There we go. Right now I am. But I'm trying to see where the benefit lies in it and like accept that this is where I need to move next.
Yeah.
And then we actually talked about moving to a situation where I just train every other day. Mm-hmm. Right. So some weeks it's only 3 training sessions, and then other weeks it's 4, but it's never like 2 days off in a row.
Okay.
And so that was just something that we got talking about on the weekly call a while ago. Yeah. Not a while ago, last week. and I was just like, that would be really interesting actually, to just train every other day.
I was doing that. It's
I've been
what?
On purpose? Or
yeah,
because that's how the cards fell.
Yeah, kind of both, I guess. Yeah. Like with the 2 on, 2 off split, I was rocking it. Like some weeks I would rock it 2 on, 2 off. Other weeks I would rock it 1 on, 1 off. Just because it fit, and it worked. So, it fit my schedule. I still got the volume in, and much better than what's going on now.
Yeah, you're like 1 on, 5 off.
Don't tell Nick.
It's okay. He doesn't watch these anyway.
You duped yourself, Nick.
Sometimes I wonder what he would think if he did.
He'd probably be like, wow, this is such a mishmash.
He'd be like, you guys are really all over the place.
Yeah.
Yes, we are, but that's why we're great for cardio.
'Tis the point.
Because we're just all over the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely I think worst thing, which really isn't a bad thing, is just my training frequency went down. But trying to see the light in it and be like, okay, I can smash myself like extra hard.
Mm-hmm.
I can mentally tell myself that like I can push to a new level because I have the recovery time for it now.
I think that's going to be the purpose of this split for you.
Yeah. The other part of it is that like I literally just can't train on weekends.
Cannot or will
currently the gym closes at 3 on Saturdays, which is 1 right when I go to train.
Yeah.
2, we have the weekly call at noon. So in 3, I'm not doing a morning session.
Gotcha.
I just won't. It would be such a waste of a session for me.
Training in the morning?
Training one day a week in the morning would be such a waste of a session for me because I wouldn't be acclimated to training in the morning at all. And so I would just have like incredibly decreased performance that morning.
Okay.
And so it just there wouldn't be value in it.
Yeah.
Really. Versus just taking the rest and like smashing extra hard during the week.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, the gym's closed.
Fair enough. And Sunday it's closed.
Yeah. I'm hoping that all that stuff kind of changes here shortly with like.
Is that a COVID thing?
I think initially it was. There's been news that now the gym is going to be open until 9:30 during the week, which is great. I mean, I don't really train that late anymore. I've gotten to a point where I train at 3:00 every day, so it doesn't matter. But
were you training late like that? Were you training late?
I used to train late.
Yeah, I used to train late.
It's funny. I was just talking about this with Haley. Like we switched gyms because we didn't really want to be in the environment we were in at the time that we were going, which was, the after work crowd. It was just too busy in the gym, and we ended up having to wait a stupid amount of time for a rack or a machine, and it was getting really frustrating, and it was setting a bad mental space for the workout. And so then we moved to this new gym, and then when we did that, we moved to training at 3:00 when no one's there anyway. So it did. But either way, I used to train later at night. I did that for a while, but then I was like, I really like my stim pre-workouts, and I don't like taking a stim pre-workout after like 6 p.m. because I want to go to bed. I've been saying, I really have worked on fixing like how I kind of flow through my day, and I like my afternoon and evenings to just be like a calm settle down.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's it all worked out, and that's what's going on. But yeah, I train at 3 now pretty much every time.
Cool.
I actually trained at noon last week on Friday. That was fun.
My training time's just been like midday now.
Yeah, I love training midday. It's definitely been the best time that I've found to train.
Yeah.
And that might just be because it's like the best time in that environment, right? If I was at a different gym, it could totally be different, right? I might enjoy like an evening sesh if there's the right crowd of people in there.
Yeah.
Right. So for this environment, training midday has been best. It also works best for my meals and all my meal timing and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, same, pretty much. Yeah. I haven't trained super late and that long. I remember
you want to sleep.
Yeah.
You want to sleep. You want to get to bed and like be able to calm down. Because that's the other thing is like after my sessions, I'm fucking riled up.
Yeah.
I'm all riled up.
Especially after I take some pre.
Yeah, like I'm riled up. I got a ton of cortisol going on. Like, and if I gotta go to bed an hour, like I'm not back yet.
Yeah. Even eating is hard. Like after I work out personally, like I really don't like eating like immediately outside of the gym.
Yeah. What I found to help with that, because I was definitely in the same boat, is after my training session, except for on leg days, I'll do my cardio.
After your training session?
After my training session, I'll do my cardio. And then after the cardio, this has actually just become a thing since it got nicer out. I just like sit in the van for like 10 minutes after my workout, and I just decompress. Like I let the breeze come in, and I just sit and decompress and become human again. And then I'm finally ready. I'm like, okay, I can drive. Yeah. I'm good to go. I can drive home. And like, I've kind of worked myself back into like a parasympathetic state, and then I'm good to eat.
Good.
Yeah. But there was definitely a period of time, and it totally correlated with like lifting later at night, where I would finish my lift and then I would just sit in like this sympathetic state where I wouldn't calm down. I wouldn't have an appetite. I wouldn't be ready to sleep. Like I just couldn't calm down.
Yeah.
And so now, training midday, I can calm down, I can move into a sympathetic state, I can eat, I can like relax moving into my day, and then I sleep great. I got the blue light blockers, like recovery is running on like max.
Good. It was
Yeah.
nice.
So yeah, it was just like making those minor adjustments and finding what helps me kind of flip back, right? Like that decompressed time in the van, I've actually found to be really important for me. It's just like, it's a part of kind of the routine now. Like I just got to sit there, feel some wind, like come back to being human for a little bit. And it has to be outside of the gym environment. Like doing the cardio kind of helps. It brings me a little bit back to reality and like loosening everything up and all that stuff. But then I have to get out of the environment to really like bring myself back down.
Okay.
Which is something that I've been working on.
Yeah, I find that nature does a really good job of kind of
Yeah,
bringing
exactly.
it back.
Exactly.
I actually went on a small, like, it wasn't really like, I guess you could call it a hike, kind of.
I saw that.
It was like a.
You go.
To Narnia.
I guess so. You were on like a fucking water tower or something.
Yeah, there's a water tower over in Carmel by this place I used to work. And it's called Ninum Hill or Ninum Tower. And you basically just like, you drive like up this mountain to like the parking lot, and then you like walk even farther up the mountain. And then at like the very top of the mountain, there's just like massively tall freaking fire tower. The thing, no joke, is probably like, it must be like 7 or 8 stories high, like tall. Like the thing is like up there. Like you saw how tall. I mean,
yeah,
the
you
video
were
didn't
way
really
up
do
there.
it justice. Yeah, but it's like, and it was windy as fuck. I don't know if you could hear it on the video, but like when I was walking up there, dude, the wind was so hard, and like the higher you got up there, the harder it blew. Like when you got up to the very top, like I was trying to like decompress and chill, but it was so windy up there, dude. I was
Got
like,
you kind of riled up
I was
again.
like, holy shit. Yeah, I was like, this is fucking crazy. I like the top, like when you're like in that top little like cubby of the tower, like you can literally feel like the tower, like the wind against the tower, and it's like kind of moving it, and it's like blowing over and like in and like, and I've got like this jacket on that's like acting like a parachute now, and I'm like holy fuck. Like, this is not what I thought it was gonna be.
Dude, I look like a floating head right now. My background has gotten
my background to disappear like that.
My background has gotten so dark. This is amazing.
There we go. Oh, that's all I had to do. I just had to take. I'm bald now.
This is fun. It's like a green screen. Anyway, great podcast.
Yeah, guys, thanks for coming through.
If you weren't watching that on YouTube, we were totally just like bobbling our heads through space for a little bit there. But hey man, I think we're rolling up on like hour and a half, probably hour 45. And we said that we would try and keep these under 2 hours.
Yeah. You got another meal to eat by any chance, Brady?
No, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
I'm going to bed. Yeah, it's bedtime. Wake up shredded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I posted
No.
I know. No, I mean, I'm trying to be a little bit leaner.
Yeah.
I was looking through some old photos, and I found some photos that were taken at like the end of my diet. I posted it up on my Instagram story, and it's just this photo of me just like standing there, and you can see like feathering through my erectors on my back.
Shit.
It's stupid. I looked, I was like, why was I so fucking lean? Like,
yeah, dude.
What was that
really
for?
were lean. You really were lean.
I was pretty lean.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I totally didn't think so at the time. I was like, no, I need to be leaner.
Yeah, it was all perspective, dude.
Yeah. And now I look back at those photos like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That shit was crazy.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, and then I saw that and I looked at my back. I was like, it's gonna be really cool when I come back to being this shredded because it's gonna
You're
look
like 10
it's
times
gonna
bigger.
yeah, it's gonna look completely different. I know it is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It will.
Excited. I'm excited for the future.
I am too, Brady. I'm excited
Definitely.
for your future, man.
Yeah.
A lot
Man.
of big things happening on Team Gloff.
Hell yeah. Lots of good things. Lots of good things. Bye. We'll wrap this one up. It's never enough time in an evening to chat about everything, but we should try and chat with Vadim at some point.
I do agree.
I love chatting with Vadim.
I know I have to get one in.
Yeah.
He shot me a text actually today. He was like, "Hey dude, like I know you've been super swamped. Just wanted to like, just hoping things are okay." I was like, "Oh shit, thanks, man."
He's a great dude.
He really is. Yeah,
Great
he's
dude.
super cool. Shout
out to Vadim. Absolutely. He's probably one of the few people that make it this far in these videos.
We love you, Vadim.
All right, man.
All right,
we'll wrap this one up and we'll get it up in the morning.
Peace, Brady. Nice talking to you, bud.
Deuces, end of episode 27. Catch you next week.
Yeah, I know, big